Like Kenny Pickett is taking a page out of your book. Back in your playing days, you had music and iPod Nano synced up to your helmet. He's got a camera during practices. Yet another development tool for the second-year quarterback. But as soon as I saw this headline, I thought of you.
Yeah, so that I'm guessing, Mark, that's the new wave. The first person I saw that, at least nationally, what they talked about was Tua down there in
Mhm.
Miami. He had a camera, cam on his helmet for the Miami Dolphins, and Kenny Pickett doing the same. But if you think about it, man, that's just an extra step, especially when it comes down to film study, practice study, on what a quarterback might be looking at and how you can teach first, second, third read, especially coming off of coverages and depending on what the play is. So just an extra tool in the toolbox. Technology is so helpful these days, Mark. And the only thing I can think about is, a lot of other teams with young quarterbacks. I wouldn't be surprised if Indy do it. I wouldn't be surprised if the Carolina Panthers start to do it, just to enhance these young kids, these young men, especially at that quarterback position, Mark, on actually when you watch tape, seeing exactly what they're looking at. So, I'm a visual learner. So at the quarterback position, that's definitely going to give them a visual aspect on what they first, second, and third read, especially coming from that quarterback cam helmet.
I think about the pre-snap reads as well and the pre-snap alignments of defenses and where your eyes are as a quarterback, Ike. And that's what I think of when I read this. Now, I thought it was very interesting that Kenny Pickett says, I would love to get a similar camera on Steelers all-pro safety Minkah Fitzpatrick to learn to see how he is a ball hawk as a defensive player and teach some of the same things, but what he's doing on the other side of the football, Ike.
Yeah, Minkah ain't nothing but a quarterback on the defensive side as well.
Yeah.
But it's just something you can't teach with Minkah, and that's instincts. So that's why if you just go back, Coach T said he saw this before. What he meant by that is I seen a guy with instincts, and the first guy I saw who was very instinctive was Troy Polamalu, Hall of Famer. So when you look at Minkah, man, yeah, it'll look good from the helmet cam point of view, but when it comes down to them instincts, not a lot of players, especially at that position, are very instinctive like that. So that's what makes Minkah so different, Mark.
I also think about this as a way to where if Kenny Pickett is doing something particular that could potentially be a tell pre-snap, that this would help be able to eliminate that. And Ike, as someone who played cornerback 12 years in the NFL, were there times you could pick up on a tell of a quarterback or of an opposing offensive player based on your film study?
Yeah, but for us, Coach Ray Horton, I gotta tip my hat out to Coach Ray Horton, my DB coach. He just simplified the game so fast. I picked up a few tendencies when it came to a receiver or a tight end or personnel. But once Coach Ray Horton came through, he was like, "Man, we're always playing offensive coordinator." And we was like, "What you mean by offensive coordinator?" He was like, "Offensive coordinators always have tendencies on first, second, and third down." Then after you look at their tendencies, he said pick out 5 plays. 5 plays with the offense coordinator like doing first down, second down, and third down. Now they're gonna get to their plays out of different formations, but yeah, you gotta respect the receiver you're playing, Ike. But the receiver can't run the route unless he gets it from the offensive coordinator. So just look at the OC. Let's see what the OC tendencies are. And once he broke it down to us like that, that's when my game kind of shot up and it slowed down a lot for me because all you doing is playing just like on the defensive side. Dick LeBeau, Hall of Fame Dick LeBeau. Dick LeBeau got his tendencies too on first, second, and third down. So it won't nothing but like it's just a chess match, I would say. But what I did like about Dicky taught us the weakness to our defense, so we understood what the offense was trying to attack us. But as far as like playing a receiver, I always respected all receivers, Mark. But I knew they had to get their routes or the quarterback had to call calls depending on what the offensive coordinator did. So we always studied the OC.
Correct me if I'm wrong here too, Ike. I'd imagine that familiarity is even greater among the teams in your division when you're playing them at least 2 times a year, sometimes during your playing career when you get into the playoffs, like 3 times in a single season.
It's a wrinkle. It's one small wrinkle. And when we played Baltimore 3 times that year, we knew what each other was going to do. We knew all the plays. That's why it was low scoring games. It was just a small wrinkle. And when you play teams like that and you play them twice a year, everything just becomes instinctive, So, and they say football is a game of inches. And when you play the Baltimores at the time, when we was both hot and winning championships, man, it was a game of centimeters because you can be on the receiver, I can be on the receiver, and he had no way to catch that ball. He wound up coming down with the ball, and it could have been 36. So that's what it was. So when you just familiar with each other like that, Mark, it's just who's gonna make that one play, and that's when it usually came down to. A majority of the times, either that was from special teams, either coming off a kickoff, a punt return, or a field goal.
Yeah, Ike, and this technology that Kenny Pickett is using is not new, but it's new to the NFL. Again, Kenny Pickett, Tua Tagovailoa is using it, but all you have to do for Pittsburgh is go across the hallway. And when Nathan Peterman was a quarterback at Pitt, he was using some of this technology during practice just to see, again, a lot of it's pre-snap reads. There's only so much that a single camera can show you. But if you can know where to go with the football based on the coverage, the alignment of an opposing defense, I think it's going to help any young quarterback, regardless if they're at the collegiate level, regardless if they're at the NFL level. But again, Ike, taking this back to your playing days too, I saw this and I'm like, Ike might not have had the camera to study after the fact with the virtual reality and practice to get those mental reps, but I know you were locked in the zone listening to Lil Wayne. I'm sure you had other great rap music on your playlist with an iPod Nano. That was the technology back in the day, like 10 years ago.
Man, I couldn't believe I did that. I wound up setting my helmet like that, and it just put me in the zone. Just for like working out.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of workout when you got music playing. So
Amen.
I said, you know what? Let me just try to put music in my helmet. So I wound up sliding music in my helmet, Mark, and it's like chewing gum, but we got the mouthpieces in, so you can't chew gum. So it was just like very, very relaxing for me. And at that time, and at that point in my career, we just knew hand signals. Between me, Troy, and Ryan Clark, man, all we had to do was just look at each other, Mark, and we understood what each other was saying. So we didn't have to talk, and that was the camaraderie, that was the brotherhood, and that was countless hours and countless days and countless reps to where we just figured it out. But all that started in practice. So me having some music in my helmet, man, I know I'm probably the only dude who ever did it in the history of football.
Yeah, someone's got to bring that back. We can be hush hush about it. We can be quiet
Correct.
about it. And like we go down to your neck of the woods in Louisiana, LSU now has the air conditioning helmets for this upcoming season. Those will last up to 5 hours. I wonder though, you have to go back to that 2018 game where it was like a 7 overtime game against Texas A&M. Does the AC go out, when you get to the third or fourth overtime, Mike? But that's the only other thing I've heard that's even remotely like this is those air-conditioned LSU helmets, which I guess are pretty cool. You just look at the players' reaction when they actually put the helmet on, Ike, and that tells the entire story in terms of does this actually work or not?
Yeah, so in Florida, especially down south, Mark, between I would say May and stepping into September gets cool. That's perfect for anybody. If you're in the southern region and you play football between Texas, you slide all the way over east to Florida. When it's hot, man, you put on that AC helmet, and it's gonna get more popular. A lot of other colleges, they're gonna start doing it. But by the end of the day, it just makes sense. The cooler you are, the more non-fatigue you are, the more you're able to play at a high level. That's what separated the good from the great. They never got fatigued. And when everybody else was getting fatigued, it was like they had more energy than others. And it helps your mentals as well. When you're fatigued, mentally you collapse. So I can only imagine me playing with an AC helmet. Man, ain't no telling how long I could have played for because I always thought I was just in shape, period. So, technology these days, Mark, is these kids are getting everything at their disposal. Whether it's you going to college and you having a massage therapist, or you have something called a car wash. A car wash meaning as soon as you get out of practice, you got somebody taking your helmet, taking your shoes, cleaning them. You got a hot tub, cold tub. You got the ice machine. You got pretty much everything at your disposal when it comes to that. Now we're just going to incorporate a helmet or AC. So time will tell. But, this generation, man, they got everything they're looking for as far as like a football player.